Hi, my name is Terry Wong. I'm running for Ward 7 City Council. Thank you for having me here. Before I start, let me tell you a bit about myself. Born and raised in Vancouver, came to Calgary in 1980 to continue a career in healthcare management. In 1984, I joined the City of Calgary, where I also held a number of managerial positions. 2013, I ran for City Council, Ward 2, where I came tied for second place. 2015, I assisted in creating the Chinatown Business Improvement Area, where I later served on the board and ultimately their executive director, where I hold that position today. In 2018, I joined the Hounslow Heights Briar Hill Community Association as the Community Association president. I still hold that position today as well. Ward 7 constituents would gain by having a councillor that does the right things and does it the right way. That means listening, learning before leading. That means understanding, respecting, and engaging communities in a way where meaningful dialogue leads to meaningful decisions. Over the past 5 months, I have door knocked over 5,500 houses, spoken to 1,000 people, met hundreds of businesses, and engaged with each of you. The primary things that we've been hearing over the last 5 months are Calgarians are concerned about safe communities, an affordable city, and a vibrant Calgary. These concerns are paramount on their minds. With regards to safe communities, you are concerned about community safety in your backyard, on your parks, and in the LRT stations especially. You're also concerned about the rising crime, especially drug crime and gun use. And thirdly, you're concerned about infrastructure safety, potholes, crumbling sidewalks, inaccessible sidewalks. Those are the concerns that are expressed in safe communities. As a Ward 7 City Councillor, I will reprioritize both our operating capital budget to ensure that resources are there to take care of what's most fundamental to you. Ward 7 and the lives of our families will win when we get control of city spending, when we get control of spending within our means. What we are challenged with is fixed incomes, fixed pensions, job loss resulting in lower family income. Consequently, we cannot absorb the additional costs of city services downloaded to us. What you've asked for is for the city to operate within its means. What you've asked for is the city to reprioritize its budget to the things that Calgarians need, not necessarily the ideals of what we want. What you've also asked for is to ensure that we have maximized existing revenue opportunities rather than raising taxes. This means going to the regional municipalities of Rockyview, Foothills, Okotoks, Cochrane, Strathmore, Chestermere, and seeing if the municipalities and its residents are paying their fair share of Calgary services. On top of that, you would like for us to speak to NMAX to reduce and control their utility fees. During my campaign, I sent survey questionnaires out to people I met at the doors, businesses, and other special groups. The results are in. The top consideration for all Ward 7 residents are affordability of city taxes, fees, and debt, and controlling spending, debt, and reserves. Followed by this is protection of parks, green space, tree canopy, water, and our climate. Thirdly, it's about meaningful consultation. Fourth, having quality roads and snow removal. Beyond that, we had several other issues, including concerns for crime and social disorder, addressing downtown vacancy, having smart growth, reducing poverty and homelessness, managing the pandemic, We also asked you questions about what was important to you in your Ward 7 community. The most important thing was crime and social disorder, followed by land use development, densification, and the guidebook. The third concern was around traffic calming, snow removal, bike lanes, and high traffic roadways. The next one after that was effective community association representation. This is listening and learning, understanding, respecting your wishes. With this has allowed me to establish a platform of how I will continue this campaign and serve you when elected. With regards to questions raised by this community, specifically on balancing the desires of local residents against the citywide objectives of intensification, how will I handle that? The answer is very simple. We need a guidebook that represents the development of a community with the input and the collaboration of the community as opposed to ideology. This starts by asking the city for an updated intensification supply-demand trend. With that, we would know precisely the amount of densification required, where to place it, and how to do it. Secondly, we need to work with our industry to understand that communities, our history, our heritage, our green space are important to us. And whatever they do to develop should take that into serious consideration. Thirdly, we need to work with the City of Calgary to review their engagement process and protocols. Engagement at the city should not be about selling a virtue or an ideology. Engagement should be about public participation, asking what keeps you up in the middle of the night, what are your hopes and aspirations, how can we make a better community for you? On the topic of specific actions that I will take to diversify Calgary's economy, there are 3 things that we need to do. As a city, we need to put in place the right public infrastructure for businesses, for economy, and for people in our communities to succeed. Spending money in capital development at the local level, in the downtown core, and in Ward 7 communities is important. The second is we need to find a way to incentivize, particularly our small and medium-sized businesses, to continue the doors open, to continue hiring local staff, and to continue to be a prosperous business for our communities. The third thing, we need to attract big business back to the downtown core. We do that by selling the virtues of what Calgary is all about. Attracting big industry to come to Calgary because of who we are, what we are, is just as important as attracting them because of who they are. Yes, I do support the Greater Downtown Strategy. However, I will be looking for more immediate deliverables and outcomes because we cannot afford to wait 2 to 3 years for this to come to fruition. Looking to change office vacancies by multifamily is certainly one approach. Another approach is to approach our public institutions, such as our universities, our federal government, to see if they would occupy these spaces under lease. Doing this would potentially save our senior levels of government having to spend capital dollars building new buildings for themselves. The top 3 goals that I'd like to work on when elected into City Council are 3 things. First, to restore balance in the 3-legged stool of City Hall. That means our elected officials, our administration, our taxpayers are considered equally and respectfully. The second thing I will work on is improving our public engagement and the public participation process. Without our communities, without our taxpayers, without your voice, we do not know, should not know, how to represent you. The third thing is to take care of Calgary's economy and development, both in terms of economic development and land redevelopment across the city. We need to do it in a smart way. We need to do it in a responsible way. We need to do it in a way that's affordable and accessible and available to people who want to move, live, and prosper in Calgary. With regards to the Green Line, I've studied this file very extensively. Calgary will win while having a mass transit system that connects people from north to south, east to west. The Green Line will do that. What we need is additional funding from federal and provincial governments to do the Green Line right, particularly across the Bow River, up Center Street, and continuing to North Calgary. I will work hard to seek to get the funding that we need to do this development properly. In the meantime, we are in a recession. We are coming out of a pandemic. Our transit patterns have changed. I will ask the city administration to seriously consider the business case and reprioritization of the timelines to match the demand for transit. In closing, thank you for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity. I bring to you experience, responsibility, and trust. I also bring to you somebody who can make it work, not full of platitudes, not full of pipe dreams, but reality for achievement. Once again, thank you and appreciate your time.